o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Thank you, gentlemen. And the next thing I'd like to do is open this event with a prayer. If you please bow your heads. O Lord, we give thanks that we have gathered here today. We ask, Lord, for your protection from disease, and thank you for the candidates represented here this evening. We remember what is written in Psalms chapter 22, verse 28. For kingship belongs to the Lord, and he rules over all the nations. May your truth guide us this evening. Amen. Now I'll have Tony Herzog. He'll start with the introductions of the candidates. Thank you.
Good evening, folks. My name is Tony Herzog. I'm the Wayne County Republican State Committee man, and my partner over here is Tony McAndrew, who is the Wayne County Republican Committee woman. So we have a T-O-N-Y and a T-O-N-I, so it's not too hard to remember. We'd like to get this event started, and again, I'll say the ground rules are going to be 3 minutes for our speakers. When we've told them all that when somebody stands over here, we're going to have them try to wind down and be done. We want to respect everybody's time. That's the most important thing. Many people have to travel yet. There's a lot going on, as we know, in this election year. So we're going to try to keep people safe with social distancing, and we're going to also try to keep the program moving. So for our very first speaker this evening, we're going to introduce the Wayne County Court of Common Pleas candidate, Mr. Matt Meir.
Thanks, Tony. I'd like to thank the committee, Tony and Tony, the chairman, Steve Adams. They're doing a wonderful job for putting this event together, giving all of us an opportunity to talk to you. As I said, I'm Matthew Meir. I live in Dyeberry Township, Wayne County. My family's here with me. Those two good-looking kids over there, Tess and John. Wave, guys. Tess likes these events. John, he'd rather be riding his four-wheeler right now. My early years, I was born at Wayne Memorial Hospital. I was raised in Honesdale. I went to Honesdale High School. After graduating from there, I went to the University of Scranton. Then I got a real job working in New Jersey for a couple years. I decided that wasn't for me, so I headed out to California. I went to law school in San Diego. Upon graduating from law school, I had to make a really tough decision. What was I going to do? How was I going to take my education and serve? Well, I had job offers in California, Nevada, Louisiana, but I never considered them. I was coming home. I was coming home to Wayne County. My family's been here for 6 generations, and I know it's 6 because I checked with the genealogist, my Aunt Mary and my Aunt Kate. When I came home, I was lucky enough to get a job with then attorney Raymond L. Hamill. He hired me right out of law school. And I'll tell you, when you start a law practice in a small town, it's tough. You got to take anything that comes through the door. And at the time, the judge was Judge Conway. And for anybody that knew Judge Conway, when Judge Conway called you and said, Matthew, you're going to be appointed to represent this 5-year-old boy as the guardian ad litem, you don't say no to Judge Conway. You say, yes, sir, thank you. So I started out early on getting those appointments and having to represent some of the indigent members of our society. That got me into court, showed me how the system worked, allowed me to make arguments and fight on behalf of the lowest members of our society sometimes to help them. After doing that for a couple of years, then District Attorney Mike Lahutsky hired me as a part-time assistant district attorney. He put me in charge of running the drug task forces here in Wayne County. I did that for a couple years and prosecuted the drug dealers of Wayne County. In 2007, Ray Hamill got elected Court of Common Pleas and then became Judge Hamill. I then continued my firm on my own. At that point, I went through a transition in my law practice where I stopped litigating and fighting and started to represent townships. Dyeberry Township, Bethany Borough, Manchester Township, South Canaan Township. I also got hired to represent the Western Wayne School District. The reason I like this type of work is because it's a team approach. The hardest working people out there, and some of the lowest paid sometimes, are your supervisors, your council people. They work very hard and they can give a direct benefit right to the citizens of Wayne County. That's why I enjoyed that work so much. Western Wayne School District, those 9 school board members, that's the most thankless job out there. They don't even get paid, but they are working hard day in and day out to educate the children of Wayne County. That's the team approach. That's the service that I want to bring to you as the second Wayne County judge. So I've had to practice doing this because I'm not a politician, but I humbly ask for your vote on May 18th. Thank you very much.
I'm not as tall as the other ones. Thank you, Matt. Now we have 2 candidates up for Wayne County Sheriff. First up will be Joe King.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Joe King, and if you've watched old movies, a lot of the old-time politicians said if you have to give a speech, start out with a joke. Here's mine. You know how you remember my name? Remember the phrase, you must be joking. Joe King. I'm a retired police officer from New Jersey. I've lived in Wayne County for 25 years. I retired on January 1st, 1996. The middle of 96, I drove up from New Jersey, never looked back. The only thing, as you can tell, I can't get rid of is the accent. But anyway, I brought my achievements and my qualifications and my experience with me. On my table back there are copies of my resume. Please feel free to go over and look over the resume. I think we have enough copies there if you want to take it home. Please do so. Like I said, I've lived in Wayne County over 25 years. I was very surprised when I bought the map of Wayne County from the county courthouse. 200 square miles. I said, what am I getting myself into? But anyway, I was a officer friendly for 13 public, private, and parochial schools when I was a police officer. I was a DARE officer. What I would like to do, besides increasing and giving the most adequate security we can to the Wayne County Courthouse and the other buildings we defend, I would like to start some children's programs sponsored by the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. I do not know exactly when I take office because I'm confused with the politics thing. I think, should I win, I don't take office till January 1st because it's a 2-year term. But anyway, the election day is May 18th. I hope everyone remembers that. And look, I'll be at the table. Any questions you may have, please feel free to come over and ask me. Your time, and God bless you.
Thank you. Our next candidate for Wayne County Sheriff is Chris Rossler.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming. I would like to introduce you, everybody, to myself. My name is Christopher Rossler. I am a lifelong resident of Wayne County, born and raised in Wayne County. I am the son of the former Honesdale Borough Police Chief. My mother worked at the hospital. I have been working at the Wayne County Sheriff's Department since 2006. I served every office that we had in the Sheriff's Department. I sat at metal detectors. I sat at the lobby, sat in court. In 2010, with the passing of Charlie Morelli, I was appointed Chief Deputy Sheriff. So I served Chief Deputy Sheriff under Mark Steelman for the last 10 years, 11 years. And as in December 31st, I became acting sheriff. And the last going on 3 months have been a great experience for me, where I was able to start to bring the department further into the next generation. And myself and Mark Steelman have made monumental changes in the Sheriff's Department, where we got new duty weapons. We finally got a K-9 for the residents of Wayne County. It's our first K-9 Manfred. And so far, he has located children. He is 100% on finding drugs in our county. And he's a great asset to our department. I started out at the police academy, and during the police academy, I was looking for jobs. But deep down, I wanted to be a deputy sheriff for the Sheriff's Department. I got hired. I started working along deputies, and I always wanted to be a deputy. So every month I would come into the sheriff's office with an application. Finally, one day I get home from work and I see a voicemail on my phone, and it was from Mark Steelman. He asked when I could come in for a job interview, and I told Mark, I said, tomorrow. And he said, really? I said, yes. And I said, I will be there tomorrow. So ever since then, I have served proud the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. And it sounds a little weird, but Wayne County Sheriff's Department blood runs through my veins here every single day. I am so proud to be the leader of our great team. And after a big incident we would have, Mark Steelman and myself would sit in the office, and I would say, boy, the citizens of Wayne County should be proud of the team that we have put together here. But I do ask for everybody's vote. My goal is to keep the Sheriff's Department going into the future. I had the same mentality that Mark Steelman had, and I learned from Charlie Morelli, and I learned from Mark Steelman. So that is the direction I will lead the Sheriff's Department in. And that is all I have, and I thank everybody for coming in tonight. Thank you.
Can't believe how everybody's staying on schedule. That's pretty good. In any event, we've been honored this evening to have a very special guest, a friend of Wayne County that we've known for a number of years. He doesn't happen to represent us directly, but I know in Congress he really does represent us and Wayne County values. I'd like to introduce Congressman Dan Muser. Good. How's it?
Wow, hey, thank you. Well, I just have a few minutes to update you completely on everything going on in Washington and throughout the Commonwealth, but obviously that's not possible. Is that my friend Paul Meir? Hi, Paul. See your brother Matt's is running for judge, so Matt, all the best. Provide you as much support as I can. We need great people like you as a judge for our counties. So, Washington is, particularly last night, was a bit of a swamp. You may have heard that expression before. We were voting on a $1.9 trillion bill at 2:30 in the morning. So if I appear a little groggy, there's a good reason for it. But we drove back this morning with my wife, and we were happy to get out this way, and there were a couple of other Lincoln events on our way through. But we, folks, we have a lot on our plates moving forward. Clearly, we had a big disappointment in the last election, but we had a lot of great things happen too. So just as a quick state of affairs, we need 5 seats in the United States House of Representatives to win the majority back. In order for us to say goodbye to Nancy Pelosi forever, because she would retire after this, we need 5 seats in the House. And I can't tell you how important this is. When we're doing $1.9 trillion spending bills in the middle of the night, there's a reason they're doing it in the middle of the night. They didn't want anyone to hear our message as to why this was highly excessive. We have a Senate seat. You know, once again, we're going to be in the middle of this. We need to win that Senate seat. We need a consistent, conservative Republican that we can count on, that is going to have constituent services, that's going to be one of us, that's going to be with us, and representing the people of Pennsylvania that elect them. As well, we have a governor's race coming up in '22. Never can look past this year's races, and we have some great candidate judges on our slate of endorsed candidates. But I certainly don't have enough time to talk about the things and mistakes that were made by the Governor Wolf administration. I mean, it began with shutdowns. We shut down Main Street. We left the big box stores open. We had the nursing home issue that I'm talking to and pushing Josh Shapiro to issue a report on how that happened, similar to the situation in New York. We have other issues related to testing. I've been fighting with the governor about testing. The federal government gave the governor $300 million to buy tests. At the time I complained about it, mid-November, he only spent $2 million of it. Why? Hard to say. We've had vaccine problems, and we had our election disparities, which frankly are indisputable, that Article 1, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution grants the authority in the hands of the state legislator to call the time, place, and manner of elections, and the governor and his Secretary of State blew that off and made up of their own rules. Whether that would have made a difference in the election is not the point. Election integrity is the point. So, along with me having the honor of representing the 9th District, and I feel Pennsylvania in the House of Representatives and being your voice, this important governor's race, we've got to have the right governor. Pennsylvania can be the next Texas. Pennsylvania can be up there with Florida and Indiana and all the other states that are doing quite well. We need a governor that will set a model and set a plan to put us in the top 10 of states in the union, not in the bottom 10. Not higher taxes and higher spending and all kinds of new regulations and trying to put the natural gas industry out of business. We need a governor that knows how to run agencies and make the agencies. Can you imagine the agencies, when they show up, they are treating you like a customer, that they are there for you? They want to solve your problems, not create. He's laughing. He's right. It sounds like it sounds far too good to be true. The best states are doing that. And we need a governor who can work with our General Assembly and work on, and in fact, eliminate school property taxes and set up the right transportation infrastructure, including rural broadband. There's a lot that can be done. We get the right governor in, we can do it. That is why I am going to be exploring the possibility. And since I love Wayne County so much, I know it's never going to be part of my 9th district, my congressional district. It's probably the only way I can put you in my district if I've got the whole state. So I appreciate the opportunity very, very much. God bless you. God bless Pennsylvania, and God bless the United States. Thank you all very much.
Once again, I have to say how fortunate we are to have a congressman in a neighboring district who really represents us and the values of Wayne County. Dan's done a great job and continues to do a great job, and he checks in with us every once in a while just to take the temperature and see how things are going. This is a very interesting year, electorally speaking. I know a lot of people call this an off year, or there are people that call it an off year, but I've got to tell you one thing we've learned over the years in politics: there's no such thing as an off year. The fact of the matter is, the judges are extremely important, and they run on the in-between years usually. Our local magistrates run on the in-between years. Very, very often, the people who affect our lives, mostly even the supervisors and various people like that, run on the in-between years. And the fact of the matter is, we have more contact with all of those people, and they actually make bigger decisions in our lives sometimes than the legislators. So the next group that we're going to be having here are some very key people, because if you remember the dispute over the election that just took place, one of the major things was all the issues that went to the courts. And when we got to the state Supreme Court especially, the rulings went completely against the Republican Party, including rulings that appeared to actually be against the state's constitution, which is astounding in itself. So please listen carefully to these judge candidates. We're honored today to have 4 different candidates, actually 5 candidates altogether for 3 different types of office. So you need to focus on this. We have 2 Supreme Court candidates, 1 for the Superior Court and 2 for Commonwealth Court. And they each do a little something different, so I think they'll probably explain that to you. But right now I'd like to start with the state Supreme Court, Kevin Brobson.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and I actually want to thank the Barbershop Quartet for that amazing piece. It reminded me of college when I was in my barbershop quartet in college. I have to tell you, you guys sounded a heck of a lot more than I did back then, but it was a beautiful, beautiful performance. My name is Kevin Brobson. I'm a candidate for Pennsylvania Supreme Court Justice, endorsed by the Pennsylvania Republican Party. I currently sit on the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania and have been a Commonwealth Court Judge for 11 years. And I currently serve as the President Judge of that court, the Commonwealth Court being one of the 2nd highest courts in the state, just below the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. But that's my job. That's not who I am. I am the grandson of a Philadelphia city police officer. I am the son of a former Pennsylvania state trooper. I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, in north central Pennsylvania, Lycoming County, Montoursville, Pennsylvania, where my parents instilled in me, my brother and sister, the values of honesty, integrity, hard work, family, faith in God, and love of country. My wife and I chose to raise our children, our 3 children, in central Pennsylvania, in Dauphin County, just outside of Harrisburg. I have a 20-year-old daughter who's in college. I have an 18-year-old son who just got his Eagle Scout Award, and I have a 13-year-old, for reasons unknown to me, being from central Pennsylvania, is a New York Giants fan. I think that has to do with Saquon Barkley and Penn State. That's the only connection I can draw. I chose to get in this race for Pennsylvania Supreme Court because regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, everybody needs to understand that too many Pennsylvanians have lost faith in their judiciary. Too many Pennsylvanians believe that politics has infected our judiciary. Regardless of where you were on the election, regardless of where you were on congressional redistricting and how you feel about Governor Wolf's executive orders, the judiciary is the backstop for branches of government that go outside of their lanes. And we expect our judiciary to hold our government just as accountable to the law as our government expects its citizens to be accountable to the law. And that's why I got into this race. The Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania, the court I've had the pleasure of sitting on for the last 11 years, is the court that makes sure government follows the law. And if we are going to start to give these people who have become so disenchanted with the judiciary some hope, some belief that when they go in front of the judiciary, they actually have a fair shot, I think it's time to elect a justice to the Supreme Court that believes and that has the experience to show that they will hold the government just as accountable to law as we hold our citizens. I have that experience. That is what I have done for the past 11 years. I am a strict constructionist, conservative judge who follows the law as written, not as some would like it to be written. And you don't have to take my word for it. Like I said, I have been a statewide appellate judge. I have done the job for 11 years, and you can look at my record. The old saying is trust but verify. You can trust me in terms of my judicial philosophy, but you can also verify it by looking at my record. This race for Supreme Court this year is not going to turn the tide for the people that are disenfranchised with the judiciary. But it may help to start rebuild some trust for those folks. Because after all Pennsylvanians, regardless of where they are in the state, deserve to have faith in a fair and impartial judiciary. The current Supreme Court is made up of Superior Court judges and Common Pleas Court judges, no Commonwealth Court judges. I would be an additional voice for Pennsylvania, but I need your support. I need your help, because at the end of the day, it's folks in Wayne County and the other parts of the county that really make a difference in these elections. So I humbly ask for your support, and I will work tirelessly for you to win this seat this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Next candidate for state Supreme Court is Judge Paula Patrick.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. My name is Paula Patrick, and I'm actually a candidate for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I'm currently a trial court judge, common pleas bench in Philadelphia County. This is starting my 18th year on the bench in Philadelphia. Originally, though, I'm from North Carolina. I'm born and raised in a rural environment just like this. I came to Philadelphia when I left law school back in 1993 with the intent really to come get an urban experience and go back down south to start a practice. My father was a soldier, and he raised us to, of course, to believe in this country, obviously to love our fellow man and to love God. And I can tell you that one thing my father taught me was that you don't go to college to get a job, you go to create your own. So out of law school, unlike most people that follow the legal path, I didn't work for a judge. I didn't work for a law firm. I built my own practice from the ground up. I did that for almost 10 years as a trial lawyer. I then was elected in 2003. I'm the only judge that's running that's been a judge almost 18 years on the court. So I come with a heavy load of judicial experience. In fact, I was rated highly recommended by the Pennsylvania Bar. I'll let you know, I've adjudicated more than 20,000 cases in my career in Philadelphia. I've written more than 600 opinions to our 3 appellate courts. So I come to you very well qualified, ready to hit the ground running on day 1 to that Supreme Court. I'll tell you why I'm running. Like most of you, I've been deeply disturbed about the conduct of our Supreme Court and their rulings. What's troubling is that that court has become a fully partisan body and has ceased and desist to be a court of law. We need justices that are not afraid to stand up to the liberal left. We need judges that will uphold the rule of law in our Constitution. The time I've been on the bench, I've been able to do that in Philadelphia successfully. Now, courage. I'm a conservative black woman in Philadelphia. You know I have courage. Experience. Highly recommended by the bar. And listen, conservative. I was born and raised in a Christian home. And one thing that I can tell you is that it's important that our laws are followed. The Bible says that if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? If our laws go, our Constitution, our rule of law, what do we do as a society? I think all of us saw what happened last summer when the riots began to break out. It's important for us to listen to make a difference. Now, I've been around this Commonwealth running for this position, talking to so many people, and I've been to so many Lincoln Day events. But let me tell you about Lincoln. Lincoln believed that this is the party of liberty and freedom, and so do I. So in 2009, I made the bold step and switched from being a Democrat to being a Republican. Why? Because my views have always been in line with the Republican Party. I've always been a conservative. I'll tell you this, I've already been endorsed by the Pennsylvania Pro-Life Federation, and one of the things that's important is this. If we talk about Lincoln, and this is of course Black History Month, I stand before you with the blood of slaves in my veins. And I want you to know that I am ready to go to that court very highly qualified and very committed to doing the right thing for every citizen in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Our party, because of our wonderful past president, Donald Trump, brought everybody into this party, had an awesome platform. We can't change that. We have to build on it. And I'm the candidate to do that. I can take this message of the Republican Party to places that historically have been left out. And I want to do that. I need your support. I need every registered Republican in Wayne County to sign my petition to get on the ballot. We've been all over the state, and I am happy to say it's been a wonderful experience, and I'm looking forward to getting to that court, and I can only do it if we do it together. Regardless of what your background is, the fact is we're all God's children, and we can make it together. We need to change that Supreme Court. Listen, we need to make our Supreme Court great again. I'm the candidate to do it. Paula Patrick, remember me, I'm the young black woman with the Irish name.
Okay, we now have a single candidate for the State Superior Court, Megan Sullivan.
Good evening, Wayne County. How are you guys doing tonight? Good. Thanks for coming out. Weather's getting a little colder, so we appreciate all of your help and your grassroots. And my name, as the gentleman said, is Megan Sullivan. I'm running for Superior Court. Currently, I just resigned as a prosecutor at the Attorney General's office. I've been a prosecutor for over a dozen years, both in Chester County and also throughout the state as an assistant attorney general. I also have 8 years experience in civil practice. I did civil litigation, employment law, and also 1983 defense, which is basically defending law enforcement in cases where they are sued for excessive force. So I have a nice balance of both civil and criminal litigation. And even more importantly, I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I come from working class roots. My father was a Vietnam vet. My mother was a stay-at-home mom until she went back to college when we were all in college, and then she became a teacher. And they always taught me the 3 rules to succeed in life. Those were work hard, get an education, and give back to your community. As a result, I have been in public service for most of my legal career, giving back and protecting the Commonwealth and also the victims of crime. So with my experience, I want to serve the public even more as a conservative jurist on the Superior Court. Like I said, I have both criminal and civil experience, and I would bring that to the bench. I would also be fair, and I would work hard, just like my parents taught me back in the day. Now, I have 2 children of my own, a son that is 16 years old named Drew, and a daughter who's 13 named Julia. And I'm teaching them the same things, even though they are growing up in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So I would bring to the bench both a conservative but public service-oriented background. And I believe that that is what the Superior Court needs right now. Currently, we are at 7 Democrats and 7 Republicans, and I believe that we need to keep that balance and gain that seat. We also have a really strong ticket of 4 different endorsed candidates with the Republican Party, and we are all have strong resumes and strong backgrounds. So we need you to get out the grassroots, to be the boots on the ground, and to talk us up. And we appreciate that because that's what wins elections, especially for judges. I also want to end just by saying that this is the 160th anniversary of Lincoln's inauguration. And we've been celebrating Lincoln Day events all day. Lincoln came into office at a very dark moment in time when there was a lot of chaos in this country. We were on the brink of war. By the time he was inaugurated, 7 states had seceded from the Union and war was imminent. Those were dark times. A lot of our party believes that now are dark times. There's a lot of chaos in our world. But we need to take a page out of Lincoln's book. We need to stay focused. We need to stay calm, and we need to be thoughtful. We need to stay true to our virtues and our values as Republicans, and don't get distracted by the other side. I think Lincoln said it best when he said, "A house that runs against itself and is divided cannot stand." We as Republicans need to be unified. We need to move forward together to win in November. Thank you for your attention this evening.
Thank you. And finally, for State Commonwealth Court, we have 2 candidates, and the first candidate who will be speaking is Stacey Marie Wallace.
Good evening. Thank you so much for being here, and if you are live streaming, thank you for watching. I recognize that you could be anywhere right now with your time and you're choosing to spend your time to listen to us, so I'm incredibly thankful for that. It shows me where your concerns are, and I just want you to know that my concerns are there with you. That's why we're running. A little bit of background about myself. My father was a retired Pennsylvania State Police trooper. He served for 25 years after he was a public school teacher in inner city Pittsburgh. So he was from northwestern Pennsylvania, where I currently am from, but for 5 years he served as a teacher in Pittsburgh. Then he joined the Pennsylvania State Police. So he worked in the service area for 30 years total. He passed away 11 years ago. That was a difficult time as the years pass, we grow stronger, and my mom, who's a widow, is growing stronger too, and she travels with me. So one of the blessings of this traveling is that she and I have gotten to spend more time together, which hasn't happened in recent years. In fact, on one of these journeys, it was just so refreshing because we stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning just like giggling at old memories, and it was really quite healthy. As far as my relationship, I've been married for 16 years. Actually, it'll be 16 this month, March 26th. And together we have 2 children, my son Lucas and our daughter Cora. It's our son Lucas and our daughter Cora. Lucas is 11 and Cora is 9. Lucas is a little athlete. He's been an all-star in different areas, baseball, football, soccer, but I think the thing that makes me proudest about him is his character. And one example that was relayed to me, it's something that I did not see firsthand, but when this trickles back to you, actually, I think it means more. And I was told that as the quarterback and leader on the football field, there was a kid that was struggling to keep up. It was hot summer drills, over 90 degrees, and they were running hard. And this kid was struggling health-wise to be able to complete the drills. And when my son was done, he ran back and joined the kid and encouraged him so he could complete the drill. And by the end of that season, the entire team followed my son's leadership, and they would all run back with that one boy and complete the drill. Now, my daughter, she has special features as well. She has a heart of gold, but her delivery is somewhat different. So, for instance, she was concerned for me one day. She said, "Mom, that silly pants store sold you pants that are too small." I laughed. I said, "Yeah, that silly store. You know, why they were too small is I'd gained weight." But her heart was in the right place. The delivery was just a little bit off. Yeah, you know, kids saying the darndest things. So I've been an attorney for around 17 years, around the same amount of time that I have been married. In that time, I've been a general practitioner from a rural area. So I've had the opportunity to practice in a very broad variety. I own my own law firm. My husband owns his own business, so we're both entrepreneurs. And I think what's most relevant to the fact that I'm running for the Commonwealth Court regarding the substance of what I've done is I've worked in election law matters and municipal law matters, both of which pertain to the Commonwealth Court. Also, I've learned in this process that a lot of you look for boxes to be checked on qualifications. And so I'm going to check some other boxes for you. While I was working full-time, I also have served as a professor at a university. I'm also a certified mediator in conflict resolution. And I've also written for both state and national law journals. So those things, while they're important, I want to point out that they are not as important as my personal character. So what comes out of my mouth and what is in my heart is the most important. And you'll find comfort in knowing that since my first year of law school, my life motto, it hung in my locker, it's on my cell phone today, is seek justice, love kindness, and walk humbly. So with that, I want to thank you for your support.
Okay, our next candidate, State Commonwealth Court, the next candidate is Drew Crumpton.
Hi,
I am Drew Crompton. I am currently on the Commonwealth Court. I was appointed a little over a year ago. My current term runs through January of 2022. But as all of you probably know, if you want a full term on the Commonwealth Court, you have to run. I would say that there's 2 vacancies on the Commonwealth Court. So Stacy and I, who you just heard from, are both the endorsed candidates for the party for those 2 vacancies. What's my philosophy as a judge? My philosophy is the same as Kevin's. We call each other, or we call ourselves, strict constructionists. Words matter. They mean what they say. And I think one of the things that I want to impress upon all of you is that all 3 branches of government need to stay in their lanes. And I say it a little more crassly, we got to stay in our sandboxes. That's how the Constitution was built, and that's what's be expected. And quite frankly, a lot of what we've seen on the turmoil over the last, well, not just 12 months, but even prior to that, is that for whatever reason, certain representatives of the branch of government have decided to drive in each other's lane. And what does that do? It causes crashes. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Montgomery County. I went to Dickinson College with Steve. I graduated from Widener Law School. I have been in central Pennsylvania. I currently live in Cumberland County. I have lived there for 30 years. I've been married for 17 years. I have 2 wonderful daughters, ages 14 and almost 9. I call myself a regular dad. I do dad things. Both daughters were mad at me today for missing their soccer and basketball games. They'll have others. Before I became a judge, I worked in the state Senate for a long time, litigating a bunch of different cases, some of which you heard about today. The congressional case, I was one of the lead lawyers for that. I've done other cases. The Heller case, we filed an amicus. You may be familiar with that as a Second Amendment, incredibly important Second Amendment case. Look, and I also, for a little bit, served as counsel to the Lieutenant Governor. Why is that important? Because I have served in the executive branch, I've served in the legislative branch, and now I'm honored to serve in the judicial branch. And once again, tying it back to everyone stays in their lane, I know what lane to stay in. I know that part of my job as a judge is to protect the cars in the other lanes, and that means the legislative stays where they need to be, and the executive, which you can call into question on whether or not the executive is currently staying in his lane. These judicial races are immensely important. We have all agreed not to call it an off year. It is not an off year. If anything we've learned over the last 12 and 24 months is how important judges are. I don't say it just because I am one, but I believed it before I became a judge. So I just seek your support. I appreciate being here, and whatever you do, you need to vote for the judges in 2021. Thanks very much.
These tall people pose a problem for me. Okay, so next up we have a couple of magisterial district judges running, and the one that we're going to address right now is District Court 22-3-01. That probably means nothing to you. So I will, hopefully the candidates can tell you exactly what areas they represent, and you can get more clarity by going to their tables afterwards and looking at their petitions and discussing things with them. First up, for District Court 22-3-01, Bonnie Carney.
Good evening. I would like to thank Mr. Adams and the entire Wayne County Republican Committee for organizing this great event. It provides us the opportunity to stand before you, the voters. As introduced, I am Bonnie Carney, and I have been serving as Magisterial District Judge in District Court 22-301 for the past 17 years. My venue covers the southern end of Wayne County, and I have lived and worked in my venue my entire life. In 2003, I stood before many of you I promised competent and courteous service, and I pledged that I would establish and maintain a code of conduct that would uphold the integrity of the judiciary. I asked for your support so that I might bring my work ethic, my business experience, and my genuine interest in social responsibility to public service for the purpose of giving back to my community. It has been an honor to have been chosen to serve you. Please allow me to share with you how I strive to fulfill my commitment. On January 5th, 2004, I showed up with my toolbox, literally, and my determination to fulfill my promise to learn every step of every process for every procedure within the jurisdiction of my level of court. This not only means fair and impartial decisions, it includes filing a new case, case management, accounting, and reporting. I not only support my staff when they're busy or when they're on a day off, I train them. Magisterial district courts provide access to justice, and most often the court users are not represented by an attorney, which does pose challenges for my clerks. My docket is open to them for scheduling every day from 9 to 4:30, 2 Thursday nights till 7 o'clock, and I am there for them. Night duty is what it is. Right now, Judge Myers and I are rotating every other week. I've had the ability to handle certain matters through video and audio conferencing since 2009. I've had my state system software installed on my laptop for nearly as long. So when COVID showed up, Skype, FaceTime, Polycom were nothing new to me. I just added Blue Jeans and Zoom to my toolbox. I am proud to say that my office remains staffed and fully functional through these difficult times. We were able to meet the needs of the public and provide a prompt response to their question or concern. We operated with a whatever it takes attitude. If you've recently moved to Wayne County, you'll be glad to know that my criminal caseload is the lowest number in my court, less than 250 cases most years. While these cases are important in nature, they're not what consumes my time. Civil, landlord-tenant, payment determination hearings where I'm trying to correct a default so someone saves their driver's license. Truancy matters. While I don't have many, they are time-consuming to resolve. These cases are where I bring my experience as a business owner, landlord, and a parent come in handy. So how do I serve my community? I sit on 3 county advisory boards. I represent Wayne County on 2 Special Court Judges Association committees, and I serve my church. I officiate at weddings for several resort-style businesses that offer wedding packages, some within my district and some are not. Judges can't accept payment or receive gifts for these services, but these are large employers, and these businesses are vital to our area. I love my job, and if my service meets your approval, I will eagerly and humbly report for duty on January 3rd, 2022. Thank you for your attention.
Just occurred to me that the county committee probably made a mistake by not having a door prize for anybody that knew their district court number. we all know who our district most people know who their district magistrate is, but that number would escape everybody. In any event, we have another candidate for that district court 22-3-01, John Langton.
Good evening, everyone. I am John Langton, and I am running for District Magistrate in the southern part of Wayne County, but I just wanted to quickly introduce myself to all of you and give you a little bit background on my history. I've had 2 great passions in my life, animals and the law. I come from a family of law enforcement. My father was a law enforcement officer, my grandfather was a law enforcement officer, and so were many of my uncles. Now, I started working here in Wayne County with animals when I was 13 years old, just kicking hay and feeding horses. I eventually went on to become a trail guide and give lessons. Eventually, I even became the manager, managing a staff of 20 people and 70 horses. I went on to further my career with horses by becoming an equine dentist and a horse trainer. I've worked with some of the biggest horse trainers in the world, including John and Josh Lyons and Tommy Turvey. Tommy Turvey, as you may know, is one of the trainers on The Walking Dead. He trains a lot of horses that are on TV shows and movies that I've worked with. I've even been in a couple movies myself, but I won't bore you with that. After I graduated from Wallenpaupack, I started my career in the criminal justice field, but unfortunately I had to drop out after one semester. My grandma got very ill and she developed a rare blood disease that turned into leukemia. I decided to drop out of college so I could stay home and take care of her in her final years. Sorry, it's still a little hard to talk about her sometimes. After her passing, I eventually found my way back to college, where I attained a degree in paralegal studies, where I graduated with high honors, as well as getting an elder law certificate. I specialized in elder law to honor the memory of my grandma. After I got my paralegal degree and my elder law certificate, I took a job at the Wayne County District Attorney's Office, where I've been for the past 3 years or so. I've done just about everything there is to do at the District Attorney's Office. I filled in for the Victim Witness Coordinator when there was a vacancy for that, working on multiple murder cases, even doing murder cases while there was a bomb threat on the courthouse and managing the victims and their families. I've handled the 12-kid BB gun shooting that we've had with multiple victims on that. Within my first 6 months at the District Attorney's Office, I got my first promotion. They asked me to go full-time. I started only as a part-timer because I was still running and operating my own horse training and dentistry business. But when they needed me to go full-time, I didn't hesitate, and I did. I still take care of horses on the weekends, and I love doing it. Throughout 2020, it's been a challenging year. We've had a lot of difficulties in the District Attorney's Office. Many of my coworkers got sick or went out on medical leave, or they were even furloughed because of the pandemic. I served as the interim chief clerk at the District Attorney's Office for 10 months in 2020. And a lot of the protocols and guidelines with the pandemic, I was right there on the ground floor helping build and working with and working through with all of court administration and the magistrate judges in our area. Now, I don't want to brag or boast about anything that I've done, but I just wanted to let you know that if you elect me as your judge, I can handle any new job title. I can handle any new environment. I'm very adaptable. The changing technology and the ever-changing world that we live in doesn't scare me. I have a desire to become a bigger part of Wayne County, and I hope if you do elect me, I will be fair and just, as well as being compassionate and understanding. I will never judge anyone based on their personal or religious views. I will never judge anyone based on their gender or political beliefs. Instead, I will adhere to the rule of the law established within our Commonwealth. I have the experience, the drive, and the desire to make Wayne County a better place and a safer place, not only now, but well into the future. So I hope if you guys have any questions or any horse problems, you can come see me and I'll gladly help you through them. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Okay, so next up we have Magisterial Judge, District Judges, District Court 22-3-02, and our first candidate is Linus Myers.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone, and thanks to the Republican Committee and Mr. Davis. I appreciate the opportunity to be heard. It's good to see everybody tonight. My name is Linus Myers. I'm the current incumbent magistrate for District 22-302, which encompasses Waymart, Prompton, Holmesdale Boroughs, Cherry Ridge, Canaan, South Canaan, and Texas Townships. I've been magistrate since 2016. I was fortunate enough to win both the Republican and Democratic nominations in 2015. And I came to this job after 38 years of working for the Court of Common Pleas of Wayne County. I began as a probation officer, and over the next 16 years, I was involved in the supervision of individuals as young as 10 and as old as 90. And during that period of time, I believe I developed what has helped me considerably as a magisterial district judge was basically interpersonal skills, being able to deal with a variety of people under a variety of circumstances, and normally those circumstances are stressful. So the administration of the courts, of the Court of Common Pleas, involved case management, budgets, personnel, kind of boring stuff, but basically it's the stuff that you have to do to make the other stuff work. And I believe both those professions ideally suited me for my move to an MDJ because there is an office to run. Our office has processed over 10,000 cases since 2016. The interpersonal skills comes into play every day. I consider myself a full-time magistrate. I don't show up just when there's hearings. I'm there every day. I believe it's important for a magistrate to understand the operations of, actually it's not to understand, I am responsible for the operations of the office. And in order for me to understand the operations, I gotta know what they are. And so I have made it a point, as Judge Carney indicated too, to know how to take the complaints, know how to issue the receipts, know how to enter data. And I'm proud of that. And I also think it's very important that I am there to handle emergencies that come up, which is routine. I am located in the Wayne County Courthouse, so it's kind of convenient for state police to stop by with search warrants, the public to stop by with questions. So I'm always there to try to assist the best I can the staff. I have a very competent staff who I'm very proud of because they are extremely courteous to the public, which is something I stress. That when you come into this, to the court, sometimes it's not a stressful situation, sometimes it is, and we have to understand that. All due respect to the Superior and Supreme Court judges that were here, the reality of it is the courts that you folks are going to be involved in most often are my courts. You're not going to be appearing in Supreme Court on some appeal. You're going to be fighting a speeding ticket. You're going to be dealing with a landlord-tenant action. Maybe your son and daughter is in trouble and bail needs to be set. Okay? So you need someone who has both the criminal justice experience and the civil experience to handle both realms of that. My philosophy on judging, quite frankly, is that I try my very best to interpret and apply the law to the facts as I find them. And it is my goal with everyone that appears in my court that win or lose, I want to give them the opportunity to clearly get their points across, let me know what the position, without cutting anybody off, and win or lose, I want them to leave that office knowing that they indeed had their day in court. And I think that goes a long way in terms of bolstering, quite frankly, the impression of the judiciary. When I was a court administrator, part of my job was handling complaints. And one of the complaints I used to get all the time were people calling up saying, my attorney wouldn't let me do this, my attorney wouldn't let me say that. In magisterial district court, it's very rare that we have attorneys. You're generally representing yourself. So you may not be educated on the rules of criminal procedure or evidence. And so we take, at least I take, a lot of time to make sure that you understand what the process is, what you can and can't do. I'm not your lawyer, but it's up to me to make sure that you folks know what you're doing when you come before me. I enjoy the job. I go to work every day. I've been working down at the courthouse for the past 40 years, quite frankly, so I've got a rut in the sidewalk. I know where I'm going. I have developed, I think, very good working relationships, not only with law enforcement, with Waymart Borough Police, Holmesdale Borough Police, State Police, the Wayne County Detectives, the Sheriff's Department. I've worked with these people for years. I work with the school districts. Bonnie Carney mentioned about the different cases that we have. Currently, I have more truancy cases pending than I do criminal cases. So it's a misnomer that everything is criminal. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the magisterial district courts. And so it is my hope that you give me another look for another term as magisterial district judge. I do plan on still being a full-time judge. I do believe that I have carved out a fairly decent reputation in terms of honesty and integrity, and I try my best every day to run a court that is unbiased and fair and independent. And with that, I'm going to close, but I am going to put a plug in. I don't have a table, quite frankly. This is the extent of the material I have brought. But if you take a look at my Facebook page, I'm not a Facebook fan, but if you take a look at Facebook page, re-elect Linus H. Myers, you'll see a whole lot of stuff about what a wonderful guy I am. So I would appreciate you taking that, and once again, thanks everyone for the opportunity to be heard. Thank you.
Okay, we have another candidate for the magisterial district, 22-3-02, Kay Bates.
My name is Kay Bates, and I am running for Magisterial District Judge in the May 18th, 2021 primary municipal elections, District 22302, which, as Linus Myers just told you, is Canaan, Cherry Ridge, Honesdale Borough, Prompton Borough, South Canaan, Texas Township, and Waymart Borough. This is my second time running for District Magistrate, and I have held no prior political office. In deciding to run for this office, I considered the character of our precious town and beautiful region. I want to take a larger part in the continued preservation of peace in our area. In order to protect the charm of our town, I will hold the lawless accountable while providing the needed resources to rehabilitate. I am married to Bob Bates, the building code inspector, and we have 4 children. They are working in education, banking, healthcare, and engineering. Bob and I are grateful for the opportunity to raise our children in Wayne County and get them involved in the YMCA, 4-H, ASO, soccer, and church. My dad, Bruce Stevens, ran the Stevens Brothers Dairy Farm and later drove school bus. My mother, Raynell Wilson Stevens, was the school nurse at Honesdale High School until her death in 1971. After graduating from Honesdale High School in 1979, I obtained a bachelor's degree in social work from Eastern Mennonite College of Virginia. And in college, I was taught the problem-solving methodology, and I have been helping others using that philosophy since that time. I want to be the magistrate who I would want to talk to with a concern. I want to treat others the way I would like to be treated. I have since been in the field of social work for over 35 years. Starting my career as a caseworker with Children and Youth Services, I later moved to the area of agency on aging, and I am currently employed as the full-time crisis clinician for Children's Service Center at Wayne Memorial Hospital. I will bring my experience from Children and Youth Services, Aging Office, and now Mental Health Services to the forefront with a well-honed skill set. I have experience resolving disputes in a peaceful and courteous manner. With honesty and respect, I desire to deal ethically with each individual while holding to Judeo-Christian values. Using my considerable knowledge and understanding, I will perform the duties and responsibilities of the lower court. In 2018, I traveled to Harrisburg for the 4-week Magisterial District Judge certification course. Passing the examination on the first attempt, I feel I am a serious contender for the magistrate position. I have an ongoing working relationship with the Pennsylvania State Police and the Honesdale Borough Police Department. Hands down, I have extensive experience working with people who are not having their best day. I am well versed with area resources, and I can network individuals towards the helping and healing needed in order to get their life back on track. My driving ambition is to see those found at fault to not reoffend in the future. I love our hometown and earnestly want to preserve its idyllic charm. I believe you want to preserve our peace too. I would very much appreciate your vote on Tuesday, May 18th, as I will be running on both the Democratic and Republican ballots, and I am not accepting any campaign contributions. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself.
Okay, we're winding down. Next district court is District Court 22-304. We have 5 of the 8 candidates who are running here with us this evening. First up is Mike Farley. And if I can just say a thing, if people in the back would just keep it down a little bit, some of your sidebars, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Wayne County. How are we doing? My name is Michael Farley, as I've been introduced, and I'm running for Magisterial District Judge. We have a lot of us here tonight. Just as a reminder, my district, 22-34, is comprised of the following jurisdictions. We have Bethany Borough, Berlin Township, Buckingham Township, Clinton Township, Damascus Township, Dyeberry Township, Lebanon Township, Oregon Township, Manchester Township, Mount Pleasant Township, Preston Township, Scott Township, and Stirrucca Borough. So it's quite an area, folks. Over 500 square miles of the best, most idyllic farmland in Wayne County. I'm grateful to live there and grateful to be running for a position there. A little bit about me. I'm the son of Thomas and Mary Farley of Waymart. Okay, I'm a grateful husband to my wife, wonderful wife, Devon. I'm blessed with 3 young children. Wayne County native. Okay, graduate of Western Wayne High School, University of Scranton, and Widener Law. I have a history of service, and as my campaign slogan is, I am yours in service. I served in the military in the U.S. Army as an infantryman for 5.5 years. I was stationed in Schweinfurt, Germany, deployed first at Bosnia-Herzegovina in 2003, to Crete, Iraq in 2004, and Baghdad from 2006 to 2008. After I returned to my community, I served on the Waymart Borough Council with some of the best and brightest. Among them was Jane Varco here tonight in the middle. Thank you, Jane. Yeah. I continue my service in my county, working as an attorney in Wayne County Children and Youth, as a guardian ad litem for dependent and troubled children, as a pro bono coordinator for the Wayne County Bar Association, which helps the poor and indigent find legal counsel. And I also volunteered at the Wayne County District Attorney's Office. I have significant legal experience working under Nicholas A. Barna and Honesdale at Barna Law. And I've practiced in magisterial district courts on a multitude of matters, from landlord-tenant issues to litigation, criminal law to traffic court. I've also acted as a judge, as an arbitrator in the arbitration panel for Wayne County, hearing cases and rendering judgments. And I served as the secretary of the Wayne County Bar Association. Now, some of you may know the role of the MDJ, the Magisterial District Judge, includes overseeing arrangements, setting bail, holding preliminary hearings, hearing complaints in civil matters. So you have to ask yourself, who's the ideal candidate for that role? I would humbly submit that it's someone with a history of service, someone with comprehensive knowledge of the law, someone that knows how to apply that law, someone with direct and not just related experience in a judicial role, someone that's also community-minded, someone that's also willing to run and hold this position for a long time, not just to cap off the end of the career, but is in it for the long haul. And lastly, someone to be qualified and ready to serve without further delay. As some of you may know, to be a magisterial district judge, you either need to pass the bar and be an attorney in the Commonwealth, or you need to complete the 4-week course. Not all the candidates have done that. Okay. So in conclusion, I would submit, I've served my country, I've served my county, I've served my community, and I'd humbly ask you to allow me to continue my service as your next magisterial district judge. Please vote Michael J. Farley for magisterial district judge, May 18th, 2021. Thank you, and God bless America.
Now, our next candidate for Magisterial District 22-304 is Karen Pudnight.
Hi, my name is Corinne Pudnight, and I am running for Magisterial District Judge for the Northern District of Wayne County. I am a lifelong resident of Wayne County, and I believe I have relevant experience and qualifications that set me apart from the other candidates. I am a licensed attorney, and for the past 6 years, I have worked as a law clerk at the Wayne County Courthouse. As a law clerk, I have assisted our county judges make decisions on issues that were brought before the court. My job entailed reviewing case files, listening to hearings and trials, researching law, and drafting opinions and orders. I have had the unique privilege of having both Judge Hamill and Judge Edwards as mentors. During my time at the Wayne County Courthouse, I have also developed a great working relationship with court administration. I believe these are valuable skills that I am able to offer the Magisterial District Court. District courts are often referred to as courts of limited jurisdiction, as they are limited to certain matters. Nevertheless, district courts are involved in not only criminal law, but civil law as well. As a law clerk, I have been exposed to various fields of law, including both civil and criminal. Courts are tasked with interpreting the law every day. A judge must follow the law, the Constitution, and precedent. The efficiency problem in our court system comes in where decisions are being appealed to a higher court that might not have to be appealed if the law were being applied correctly. This is where formal legal training and experience is beneficial. I am familiar with the appeal process because I have assisted our county judges handle appeals from our magisterial district courts. I'm often asked why I want to be a district judge. And my answer is that I have truly enjoyed working within the court system as a law clerk. But I would like to be able to serve my community in a larger capacity than what a law clerk can achieve. I do believe I have a lot to offer my community. I would be very honored to be given the opportunity to prove myself. So I respectfully ask for your consideration and your vote on May 18th. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Deneen Van Horn. However, she was unable to be with us this evening, but in her lieu, we do have Sue Fritsch, who's going to speak on her behalf. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susie Frisch, and it's an honor to stand in for my great friend, Deneen Van Horn, also known as Danny. She is running for District Magistrate Judge for Northern Wayne County, which we know includes 13 municipalities. I'm going to go through them one more time. One other guy did. Berlin, Dyeberry, Oregon, Storuca, Bethany, Damascus, Mount Pleasant, Buckingham, Lebanon, Preston, Clinton, Manchester, and Scott. Deneen was raised with a brother and a sister at the Forest Lake Club by her parents Paul and Lorraine Van Horn. It was there that she learned to shoot, hunt, fish, and enjoy what nature has to offer. Deneen is a graduate from Wallenpaupack Area High School and has been a deputy sheriff with the Wayne County Sheriff's Department for 23 years, having the pleasure of serving under Sheriffs Bluff, Morelli, and Steelman. What strikes her most about her job is the ability to have positive impact on someone's life. During her time with the Sheriff's Department, she has experienced the true joy of serving her community. She has also been able to sit in and observe court settings, and she has heard it, watched it, and studied it, which has helped her understand the law and judicial process. Deneen has the desire and the sense of duty to work for the citizens of Wayne County and to continue to make a difference, to be fair and impartial, but stern when called upon, while also being understanding and compassionate when necessary. She has the experience, the drive, and the desire to make Wayne County a better and safer place now and going forward. Deneen has successfully completed the magisterial certification course, which makes her ready and able to fulfill the position without delay. I can assure you that if you elect Deneen Van Horn, magistrate for Northern Wayne County, she will work tirelessly to be a representative of the Wayne County residents with the same level of care and respect as those who have spent many diligent years filling those roles before her. Deneen Van Horn respectfully asks for your consideration as you go to the polls and vote on May 18th. She says thank you. Please consider stopping at the booth in the back, and God bless America.
Okay, our next candidate for the Magisterial District of 22-304 is Mr. James Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Jimmy Johnson, and I'm running for the position of Magisterial District Judge in District 22-3-04 here in northern Wayne County. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and my qualifications for this position. My educational background is I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from John Jay College in New York City, and I have a master's degree in human resources from Penn State here in PA. I grew up in a suburb outside of New York City with two sisters. My dad was a bus driver, and my mother stayed at home to raise the family. We lived in a troubled neighborhood that was very diverse. I started working at a young age in order to help my family financially. My goal was to become a police officer. I applied to the New York City Police Department, and I was hired. During my employment with the police department, I rose through the ranks. I made numerous arrests. I wrote many citations, both traffic and non-traffic. I've handled every type of call imaginable, from the barking dog to murder. I've handled many civil disputes, including illegal evictions, lockouts, monetary issues. Many of those were resolved at the scene, although some needed a referral to court. I wrote numerous search warrants for homes and automobiles. For every citation I wrote or minor arrest I made, I had to go in front of a judge and prosecute the case just as any attorney would. I worked with district attorneys on felony cases and assisted with their prosecution. I worked as a sergeant during 9/11, conducting search and rescue missions and ultimately recovery missions. The events of that day led me to seek residency in a community that would provide a serene and supportive locale. While looking for a residence in Pennsylvania, I found a beautiful piece of property in Pleasant Mount where I built my home. I retired as a lieutenant from the New York City Police Department and moved to Pennsylvania. After moving to this area, I decided to return to police service, working as a patrolman in Honesdale. An opportunity led me to becoming an officer in Forest City and eventually chief of police in that community. I now work as a police officer in Taylor. Occasionally, I instruct police cadets at the Lackawanna Police Academy on general topics such as criminal law, the use of force, and firearms. I also work as a Lackawanna County Deputy Sheriff. The Sheriff's Academy concentrates on civil law, which complements my criminal law background. The magistrate's job is to represent the people in the community, which is the reason a law degree isn't required. There are only a small number of lawyers who actually sit as magistrates in the state of Pennsylvania. To supplement knowledge, a certification training is given by the state. Non-attorneys must complete and pass this course prior to being sworn in. COVID caused me to miss November's online course. I am prepared to take the class on June 2nd, should I win the primary. Magisterial district judges handle many types of cases. Traffic citations are one of those cases. Proper testimony from police officers is important. For example, a person is accused of running a red light. Some officers will tell the magistrate that they observed the motorist run the red light, and that's it. Then the motorist will tell their side of the story. One of the elements that an officer has to testify to is that they watch the traffic lights cycle correctly before making any stops, and they must go back and check the light after writing that citation to ensure that the light is still operating properly. If an officer doesn't do that, the ticket would be dismissed in my court. The motorist must get the benefit of the doubt since they are being accused by the state. In cases of preliminary hearings, I will hear all the evidence and make lawful decisions on what charges will be allowed to go forward in the Court of Common Pleas. Search warrants brought in front of me must be precise in nature. I won't allow fishing expeditions where the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution is concerned. Liberty and freedom are precious rights that I value. In civil matters, the scale must tip slightly in one party's favor versus probable cause in a criminal case. I've been to calls where one party had a dispute with someone else over property or money. When I refer them to court, I often hear that they can't win against so-and-so because they are well-known or have lots of money. I have always advised them to go to court and tell the judge their side of the story. I can say if I'm elected magisterial district judge, I will be fair. Your last name, bank account, race, sex, party affiliation, just to name a few things, will not sway me. I will listen to the facts of the case and decide the outcome on its merits. No one will ever feel that they were not treated with dignity and respect in my courtroom. Listen, I have always been community-oriented, which is why I chose law enforcement as a career. My 25 years of law enforcement, coupled with my hundreds of hours of courtroom experience, have prepared me to excel if elected magisterial district judge. I am able to examine paperwork and evaluate whether it is defective or properly prepared. This expertise can make the difference between a case being dismissed or a conviction rendered. Aside from being able to facilitate a verdict being rendered, I have processed all the paperwork a magisterial district judge sees. Based on these qualifications, I humbly request your support and your vote. Please sign my petitions and vote for me on May 18th. I believe I am the most qualified and well-rounded candidate here, and I hope you feel the same way. Thank you all for coming and listening to me. I can be reached by email at jimmyjohnson4mdj@gmail.com or Committee to Elect Jimmy Johnson on Facebook. Please come see me at my table. Again, thank you. God bless you.
Okay, our last candidate that's here this evening for Magisterial District Judge, District Court 22-304, is John Dunsinger.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Dunsinger, and I am a candidate for Magisterial District Judge for District Court 22-304 in Northern Wayne County. I'm a lifelong Wayne County resident and a lifelong resident of this judicial district. I was raised in Berlin Township and lived there until my wife, Patty, our two girls, and I moved to Dybury Township on Patty's family's lands. I'm a graduate of Honesdale High School and earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from East Stroudsburg University. Shortly after graduating college, I worked as a corrections officer for approximately 1.5 years and was then hired as a probation officer by the Wayne County Probation Department in 1997. I served with the Wayne County Probation Department for over 23 years and achieved the position of deputy chief, responsible for the direct supervision of 8 probation officers. I resigned my position in January of this year as required by state court rules in order to become a candidate for MDJ. In addition to supervising probationers and parolees, as a probation officer, a significant portion of the job is conducting pre-sentence investigations. These are required to be conducted on anyone who pleads guilty or is convicted of a crime and are used by judges as an aid in sentencing. They must be accurate and complete and require the investigating probation officer to be extremely knowledgeable in the Pennsylvania sentencing guidelines and sentencing rules. I have conducted hundreds of pre-sentence investigations for crimes ranging from bad checks to homicide and earned a reputation as being the go-to person to consult for technical questions by police and attorneys. Other job duties I performed include coordinating the work release and community service programs and collecting restitution from defendants for crime victims. One of the accomplishments I am most proud of is my involvement in Wayne County's first drug treatment court. My job made me keenly aware of the far-reaching effects of the opioid epidemic and the impact on our community, and I was eager to be a part of a program to combat it. I'm proud to have assisted in the planning, development, and implementation of the program, to have served as Wayne County's first drug court coordinator, and to have secured grants totaling over $225,000 to ensure program sustainability and reduce the burden on taxpayers. My job supervising probationers and parolees allowed me to become intimately familiar with the district, both geographically and demographically. It also allowed me to develop a rapport with local police, district attorney staff, public defenders and defense attorneys, and drug and alcohol and mental health providers. Over the years, I've strived to learn as much as possible about the court system and to treat each person I come into contact with in the course of my duties with respect, impartiality, and fairness. I have always set aside my personal opinions and beliefs and performed my job with the integrity of the judiciary in mind. If elected to the position of Magisterial District Judge, I will continue to conduct myself in the same manner and strive to provide the same level of service as those Magisterial District Judges serving Wayne County now and in the past. Please consider me for your vote on May 18th. Thank you.
Sorry. My hearing aid. Well, that concludes the presentations from all the candidates, and I guess I'd like to thank the candidates. I'd like to thank everyone that made this possible. I'd like to thank Camp Ladore, and at this point, the audience is dismissed to meet and greet the candidates and sign petitions. God bless you, God bless America, and thank you for coming.